Remember the BP Deepwater Horizon spill back in 2010? It kind of looked like the beginning of the end of the power of big oil over American politics. President Obama went off on them, lawsuits poured in, and they seemed like a goner. Or maybe that's not the way it happened at all. As James Ridgway wrote in Mother Jones in June of 2010, oil companies have begun to weigh strategies to fight off tougher regulations in the wake of BP's spill to end all spills. Frankly, I don't buy it. Ever since John D. Rockefeller founded Standard Oil in 1870, the federal government has pretty much given the oil men exactly what they wanted, when and where they wanted it. Periodic government attempts to contain or regulate the industry have been little more than temporary annoyances rather than major obstacles to big oil's power or profits. It shouldn't be much of a secret now that big oil largely runs things in the United States, keeping us trapped in the 20th century while they soak up federal subsidies from your tax dollars. Still fighting over whether to ram new oil pipelines through indigenous lands or poison the Arctic with potential oil spills. And if we can please flip our federal vehicle fleet to electric, as President Biden wants to do in his infrastructure plan, and fight climate change. Oh, and also, can Texans please not freeze to death when a freak winter storm hits because the off-the-grid private oil authority fails? Part of their power is because of their expertise in advocacy. It's not a coincidence that the Green New Deal has been turned into a form of cussing. They're really good at messaging good things that could save the planet and make our lives more convenient and cleaner and better into bad socialist things. They've moved our foreign policy to the right and pushed us into bad Saudi policy and wars in the Middle East out of a hunger to keep the free supply flowing and to control it. Oil is the only thing that Russia sells, basically, and it's at the heart of their frantic, desperate, and diminishing power that Vladimir Putin obsessively uses against us and against his own people. And the big American oil barons of today, including multinationals who grew out of oil companies but are now multi-industry conglomerates like the Koch brothers company, Koch Industries, aren't just opposed to green energy. They also fight like hell against things like unions. They tried to crush them in Wisconsin under the Koch brothers' former favorite toy, Governor Scott Walker. Remember the dramatic protests and walkouts by Democratic state senators in 2011 as Republicans pushed to pass a sweeping anti-union bill that was quickly replicated in other states, cookie-cutter style? The same way the current crop of anti-critical race theory and trans kids on the soccer pitch bills are. They've sought to warp education, funding college campus programs that inject libertarianism into the curriculum to crank out more Rand Pauls and fewer AOCs. And surprise, surprise, they're not too fond of voting, because polls show that if everyone was allowed to easily and conveniently vote, majorities of Americans would vote for things like a Green New Deal and more union representation for workers and a $15 an hour minimum wage and getting dark money out of politics.